Hello and welcome to this Q&A today between Bloom and Education Mutual. I'm delighted today to be joined by Nick Hurn, Chairman of Education Mutual and Chief Executive of the Bishop Wilkinson Catholic Education Trust. We're here today to talk a little bit about some of the issues currently facing schools, to talk a bit about Education Mutual and how staff absence protection works, and also how Bloom and Education Mutual are here to support you. Bloom are the delivery partner for the NEPRO 3 framework. We offer a compliant route to market for professional services in the school sector. I'm going to pass you over to Nick now, who's going to tell us a little bit about how Education Mutual works.
Well, originally we started out as a group of leaders who were a little bit unhappy with the current services that were provided by the insurance providers. We felt that there was a lot of money being taken out of the system that maybe should be recycled into schools. So we came up with the idea of Education Mutual. Education Mutual provides cover for staff absence, where we pool resources. So basically, everybody, every member of Education Mutual, every school, every nursery education provider is a member. And they pool their money into the system to help pay the claims. We don't pay any investors, we don't pay any shareholders. So it's purely and simply set up for the benefit of the members. So everybody has a vote on what happens to any surpluses. So this year we've managed to accrue over £500,000 worth of surpluses, I should say, and that is the members' money. The members this year at the AGM decided that we should retain that money in case of any extraordinary COVID claims. However, in the future, that money, whatever that fee might be, that sum might be, will be redistributed to the members in one form or another, and the members will have a vote on how that works. So Education Mutual really is a pooling system which allows all the schools to cover their costs.
It'd be really good to just understand, obviously, a backdrop, unprecedented backdrop of circumstances for schools right now, and lots of issues in the sector. Can you just give us a few thoughts around the benefits of using Education Mutual rather than going with a traditional policy? And I think you've mentioned there about keeping the money within the sector as a huge benefit, but clearly there's even more to it than that.
The question is, do you need a staff absence protection cover or scheme? I would always say yes, you do. Now, what we provide is probably not dissimilar to what lots of other company provides fundamentally, but we also provide a whole range of staff well-being services, health services. We try to sort of support and care for the staff, as well as cover the costs that supply cover requires. This is why we have the strapline by schools for schools. That's quite an important thing to remember. I, as a head teacher for many years, had a number of years where I probably didn't get the money back that I was paying, the fixed term that I used to cover for the staff absence. And then one year, a really extraordinary year, I had one member of staff who had cancer, another broke a leg, another was involved in a car accident. 3 really long-term expensive absences that amount to about £150,000 to £200,000 for that year. If I hadn't had that staff protection, then I would have been in serious financial trouble that year. So it gives you peace of mind, really. But more importantly, a self-funded option can't provide you with the sort of healthcare support that our scheme can provide.
Absolutely. And I think, we obviously, all businesses, all organizations have kind of experienced a huge change in the absence profile over the last 7 or 8 months, for various reasons, whether that be, the need to shield, or whether that's around mental health issues and, things that have a major impact on staff. I mean, in your role kind of as chief executive of a large multi-academy trust, issues that are facing schools, how are they coping with these challenges right now?
It's on a daily basis, and I think we like myself and most other leaders, we're really just getting from day to day, trying to manage the resources as best we can, with the variety of different challenges faced each day, with new infections appearing, bubbles having to be sent home, staff self-isolating or staff infected, a whole range of things. So it's definitely been a financial challenge. We've been financially stretched, there's no doubt about it, by this pandemic. I've had lots of schools contacting me asking about what the Education Mutual do. Well, I would say Education Mutual, because it's by schools for schools, is run by the members, and we've been able to respond, as an Education Mutual, as a mutual, because we're able to use our discretionary element, which of cover of support, which has allowed us to support COVID absences from July onwards without any additional cost to the members. And I think that is really put lots of people's minds at rest. And again, I come back to the original reason for joining Education Mutual. We're all paying this money out of the public purse, and that money is recycled back into the public purse using via Education Mutual. Other companies don't do that. They pay shareholders, and they have to, their profits go out of the system, not back into the system. So that's, I think, is a really important point to remember.
Absolutely. And I think, from a Bloom perspective here, we are a DFE approved route to market for schools for professional services across the board. And actually, we're delighted that Education Mutual are an accredited supplier of ours. It certainly aligns with a lot of the social value elements of Bloom, and actually our ethos around public sector value for money and reinvestment in the public sector. So absolutely delighted to have this in place. I'm really keen, just in terms of the future, really, Nick, what other support and services can schools access with Education Mutual? You've mentioned a few there, but kind of in terms of,
Yes.
what's new for 2020, and where do you see Education Mutual developing in the future?
We provide really, really comprehensive healthcare and wellbeing services, which includes physiotherapy, counselling, private medical operations. So I'll give an example of that. Say somebody on the staff has a bad knee injury and they're waiting on the waiting list for 8-9 months to have that operation, and it may even prevent them from attending work. Well, through Education Mutual, we'd be able to get you an operation straight away, which means your recovery period would be quicker. You'd have far less stress on the member of staff, and generally, everyone would be much happier with that sort of outcome. And also for schools, you'd be able to get your member of staff back to work a lot quicker, which is really, really important. For the future, we've got a 24/7 GP helpline prescription service planned to roll out. We've got a nurse support service. We've got a mental health first aider course. We've got a major incident support service following out, ready to roll out. And that's sort of, if you have a major incident in the school, say something like, God forbid, a child mortality in the school, student mortality, then we have a whole range of services that we can provide: stress counselling, immediate supply, these sorts of things. But another exciting arm of Education Mutual that's been rolled out is our supply and recruitment services, which is under the name of Schools Mutual Services. And that's a very exciting new option that we're providing, and it's going to be run on exactly the same basis as Education Mutual. In other words, because it's under the Education Mutual umbrella, it's part of our company, and basically what that will be able to do is provide cover supply staff, and any profits or surpluses will, like Education Mutual, like the staff absence cover service, will be recycled to the schools. So there's lots of exciting things ahead.
Fantastic, Nick. And look, I just want to wrap up there by just saying thank you very, very much for taking the time today to talk a bit more about Education Mutual and kind of your role in the education sector. I think it's been really good to kind of hear about some of the developments and some of the significant opportunities Education Mutual and, you know, those additional services will offer going forward. From our perspective at Bloom, obviously delighted to have you as an accredited supplier, and I think as we move forward, we look forward to supporting schools through the NEET Pro 3 framework.
It's a really privilege to be part of such a brilliant company as Bloom. You know, we've worked with you for many years and different projects, and so I'm thrilled that you support Education Mutual in this way. Thank you so much.
Thanks, and I think that concludes our Q&A. If you have any more queries about Education Mutual or about the service that Bloom can offer, then please do get in touch.